Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, the Most High, the Heavenly Father. His Hebrew name is Yahweh, not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua. It's Yahweh Shai. So we gotta give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether they can accept it or not. In a sincere salutation to all the occupants pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four ends of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect. And shalom to the Agua who are listening and learning. The few sisters who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah from the Jeremiah Solano camp coming at you another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification. Another daily edification. Lord's willing. Let's be edifying. I titled this lesson, This is Important Information about all these churches that you need to know. And I said I was going to do a lesson on this 501c3, tax exempt. So Lord, what is be edifying? Hey, Shalom, child of the Most High. What's going on, brother? I ain't heard from you in a minute, brother. Shalom. Shalom to the Awaf on the comment board and to the Akim. Yahba Shema Shah, Barakatham. The water for tuning in. I know it's late. The water for tuning in. I want to do this lesson because tomorrow I'm going to be going from one plantation to another one. So I ain't going to be able to get no lesson did till probably after like 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow night. So I just left the plantation a little while ago. So I want to get this lesson in because I've been wanting to do it for a minute. So Lord, will it be edifying? Now, this is about the 501c3. I'm going to read some of this. Lord willing, I'm going to read most of it. So let me pull this up. Hey, because all these counts, man, every count that you have seen on YouTube have the 501c3 tax exempt. Now, if you can see, if you go to Google and pull this up, I've been had this in my phone for years. I keep it in my phone. Whether I get a new phone, I always keep this app in my phone. This article. This is the real original article. Sometimes when you go to Google and try to put it up, you ain't gonna get all of it. This is the article that has everything in it. And it's titled, The Government Owns and Runs Your Church and Its Doctrine, the 501c3 tax exempt organization. Now I'm going to read some of this. I just want to make sure I was sharing it. Everybody can see it. Hey, the water for tuning in. So let's read some of this. It say most churches in America have organized as 501c3 tax exempt religion organization. This is a fairly recent trend that has only been going on for about 50 years. Churches were only added to Section 501c3 of the tax code in 1954. We can thank Senator Lyndon B. Johnson for that. Johnson was no ally of the church. As part of his political agenda, Johnson had it in mind to silence the church and eliminate the significant influence the church had always had on shaping public policy. It say although Johnson, preferred this as a favor, preferred this as a favor to churches, The favor also came with strings attached, more like shackles. One need not look far to see the devastation effects 501c3 acceptance has had to the church and to consequent restrictions placed upon any 501c3 church. 501c3 churches are prohibited from addressing in any tangible way the vital issues of the day, which we always talking about the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast, Jacob's trouble, uh, the famine, the pestilence, the sword that's coming. These churches can't talk about these things. Oh, that you are Hebrew Israelites, and the Hebrew Israelites consist of so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. So let's read on. It says for a 501c3 church is openly for a 501c3 church to openly speak out or organize in opposition to any that the government declares legal, even if it is immoral. It say, e.g., abortions, homosexuality, same-sex marriages, etc. That church, that church will jeopardize its tax exempt status. The 501c3 has had a chilling effect upon the free speech rights of the church. LBJ, which is Lyndon B. Johnson, was a shrewd and cunning political, a shrewd and cunning politician who seemed to well appreciate how easily many of the clergy would sell out. It said he was a what? Shrewd and cunning politician. When you go and look, and when you go into Ephesians chapter 6, when it said, put on the whole armor of the Lord, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. When you go to the word wiles, it means cunning, crafty, trickery, conniving. Okay? That's these devils, right? It said, it said, before we go any further with this issue, it is important to view the big picture. Without the larger view, there will only be confusion. And that's what Babylon the Great is. Now, this next line, you got to pull this up because I'm not going to read it because it goes into this guy, Lyndon B. Johnson, and who he really was. You got to pull this article up and read the next line. I ain't going to be able to read it. I can, but they might take this video down if I read this line. That's how cold this article is. So, going back to show you the article, the name of it, the government owns. You gotta put all this in, and when you put it in Google, the first one gonna come up. That's the one you click on. The government owns and runs your church and its doctrine. 501c3 tax exempt organization. Type that in Google, and the first one that pop up, you're gonna get it. The next line, I ain't gonna read because they just might take the video down. It's not a video, but just reading what you want to see on this the fourth paragraph, they might take the video down. So we're gonna jump to the fifth one. And it reads, did the church ever need to seek permission from the government to be exempt from taxes? Did the church ever need to seek permission from the government to be exempt from taxes? No, it didn't. Were churches prior to 1954 taxable? It say no churches have never been taxable. To be taxable, a church would first need to be under the jurisdiction and therefore used under the taxing authority of the government. What is government? The word government means control, mind control. The First Amendment clearly places the church outside the jurisdiction of the civil government. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. It say nor prohibiting the free exercise thereof. It say the next line say religion cannot be free if you have to pay the government through taxation to exercise it. Since churches aren't taxable in the first place, why do so many of them go to the IRS and seek permission to be tax exempt? It occurs out of ignorance. We didn't know any better. It's a bandwagon logic. Everyone else is doing it. Professional advice. Many attorneys and CPAs recommend it. Does the law require or even encourage a church to organize as a 501c3? To answer that question, let's turn to what the IRS itself has to say. Salakia, let me get rid of this pop up. These damn devil with these pop ups. Next line say churches need not apply. In order to be considered for tax exempt status by the IRS, an organization must fill out and submit IRS Form 1023 and 1024. However, note what the IRS says regarding churches and church ministers in publication 557. Some organizations are not required to file Form 1023. These include churches, inner church organizations, or local units of a church, conventions or associations of churches, or integrated auxiliaries of a church, such as men's or women's organizations, religion schools, mission society, or youth groups. It's a these organizations are exempt automatically if they meet the requirements of Section 501c3. I'm gonna try to get all this meat off here. It says churches are automatically tax exempt according to IRS Code 508C1A, especially rules with respect to Section 501c3 organizations. New organizations must notify secretary that they are applying for recognition of Section 105c3 status. Mandatory exceptions, subsections, shall not apply. It say churches, their integrated auxiliaries and conventions or associations of churches. Now, let's scroll down. It say churches have a mandatory exemption to filing tax returns. Not only is it completely unnecessary for any church to seek 501c3 status, to do so becomes a grant of jurisdiction to the IRS by any church that obtained the state favor. In the words of Steve Nestor, IRS Senior Revenue Officer, it's a 501c3 problems, right? Let's read this. It's the court asserts that an exempt organization, one that has become a 501c3, must demonstrable, serve, and be in harmony with the public interest. You see that? Must have a purpose that comports with the common community conscience and must not act in a manner affirmatively at odds with the declared position of the whole government. Taken together, these passages suggest that the primary function of a tax exempt organization is to act on behalf of the government in carrying out governmentally approved policies. When a church accepts the 501c3 status, here we go, that church waives its freedom of speech, waives its freedom of religion, waives its right to influence legislators and the legislation they craft, waives its constitutional guarantee rights, is no longer free to speak to the vital issues of the day, which we do, because it said becomes controlled by a spirit of fear. Wow. Becomes controlled by a spirit of fear that if it doesn't toe the line with the IRS, it will lose its tax exempt status. So IUIC, ISUPK, GOCC, these groups can't do these things of speaking of Jacob's Trouble, the RFID microchip, Marco the Beast. They can't speak on these things because they will lose their tax exempt status. You see? Let's keep reading. It's a becomes controlled by a spirit of fear that if it doesn't toe the line with the IRS, it will lose its tax exempt status, becomes a state church. Here we go. It said one need not look far to see that the church's acceptance of the 501c3 and its significant restrictions has had devastation consequences to not only the church, but to the entire nation. The church in America today is, by and large, not speaking to the vital issues of the day. The church has been effectively silenced in it's a inevitable, I can never say that word right, inevitable results in a moral downward spiral in the culture as the church stands mute. This did not happen by accident, but by design. The front man was Senator Leonard B. Johnson from Texas with a New World Order. That's another line that I can't bring out. You gotta read it. I ain't gonna read that, I'm jumping down. It's a it's a one interesting note. Kennedy was assassinated not by one single bullet, but by 5 shots. That's another article. That's another paragraph you can read. So let's get to the meat of this. It say how the IRS controls Christian churches. So it's a Tex Mars of Power of Prophecy, an author and radio broadcast, has been the focus of an extended IRS investigation because of his conservative Christian views. He has learned the IRS rules firsthand the hard way. They are listed on his website. So that's okay. So it said, according to the IRS, here we go. According to the IRS, 501c3 Christian churches, ministry, and organizations may not do the following. It said they may not do the following. Here we go. Expose conspiracies, criticize the New World Order, say or publish anything negative about any politician, Republican, or Democrat. Number 4, it said criticize government agencies and bureaus, the IRS, FBI, BATF, CIA, EPA, DEA, OSHA, DOJ, etc. Number 5, this is what they can't do. Criticize any institution of government such as the White House, the Congress, the Federal Reserve Board. They say even though that is a private corporation, or the Supreme Court. Number 6, encourage citizens to call or write their congressman, senator, governor, mayor, or other public official. Criticize any proposed or pending bill or legislations that would take away the rights and freedom of the people. This is what they cannot speak about. Number 8, make disparaging remarks about or criticize any other faith group, cult, or religion. Expose or criticize the New Age movement. Number 10, support or encourage a law abiding citizen militia, even though this is constitutional. The churches still can't speak about it, even though it's constitutional. Number 12. No, number yeah. No, number 11. Support or encourage the Second Amendment, the right of the people to keep and bear arms. Number 12. Discourage young women from getting abortion or endorse the pro-life movement. Number 13, teach that abortion, especially partially birth abortion, is murder and is the killing of innocent babies. You can't talk about this. And now, when you read, when we read these things and hear it, now you know why these other groups don't speak about Jacob's trouble or what's going on in the world today. Because these are the issues of the day that none of these other groups can't talk about. And you never hear none of these other groups speak about these things. This is number 14. Identify homosexuality as a sin and an abomination to God. You can't talk about that. Number 15, express an opinion on any subject or issue. You can't talk about the issues of the day. Well, anything they got to do with World War III, the RFID microchips, the Mark of the Beast, race riots. You can't talk about martial law, concentration camps, none of that. This is number 16. Appeal to people's emotions by employing an evangelist in a Salakia. Appeal to people's emotions by employing an evangelization method, such as, listen to this, fire and brimstone preaching, not considered a reasoned approach by the IRS. Come on, man. What does scripture say? The Lord will destroy this place with what? Fire and brimstones. From what? The intercontinental ballistic missiles. But you can't talk about these things. Number 17. Just read 16 again. It say appeal to the people emotions by employing an evangelization method such as fire and brimstone preaching, not considered a reasoned approach by the IRS. It's number 17. Discuss or identify threats to Christianity, which is what the Lord say they persecuted him. They will persecute us also, right? You can't sit no threats out say, about the truth. The truth is going to get you locked up, right? Number 18, discuss subjects or topics the IRS deems it's a sensationalist, right? Number 19, criticize well-known public figures or institutions the IRS deems worthy, such as the super rich elite, international bankers, the Hollywood movie industry, etc. You see, they don't want you talking about these people. That's why the Lord said, man, that's why it's plain in Luke 14, starting at verse 16, the Lord said, go to the highways and byways, to the streets and lanes, to the hedges, right? Because in the highways and byways, you can push this gospel freely. That's why it's gonna come a time when they're going to cut off from brothers going out to the highways and byways teaching the truth. Because when you go out there, it's free speech, man. Okay? You see? But when you got these churches, you can't do this. This is number 20. Let's read number 19 again. Criticize well-known public figures or institutions the IRS deems worthy, such as the super rich elite, international bankers, the Hollywood movie industry, as far as TD Snakes, Duffalo Dollar, Geo Jennison, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackass, Joe Austin, George Meyer. You can't talk about these people. At least they don't want you to talk about them in other churches. You can't do it. Well, under the 501c3, you can't do it. This is number 20. Publish or broadcast information on any topic without giving credence to the opposing viewpoints of Christ's enemies, of Yahweh's enemies. Hey, that's crazy. This is number 21. Publish and offer books, tapes, or products that expose the elitist plot against humanity and God. Come on, man. That's all in the scriptures. Number 21 again, it's a publish and offer books, tapes, or products. What's the main book? The King James 1611 Bible. They don't want you bringing this book out. That's why they're going to what? They're going to make this book. They're going to eliminate it. They're going to burn them up. They're going to pass a law where you can't read the Bible, man. It say publish and offer books, tapes, or products that expose the elitist plots against humanity and God. Well, they got that plane in Georgia with the new guidelines, man. Right? About they trying to maintain humanity at 500 million. This is number 22. Criticize the Pope or the Vatican or contrast the new Catholic with the truth found in the Holy Bible. They don't want you to talk about the truth that's in the 1611 King James. It's a wow. Number 23. Criticize the United Nations, which is what? The beast system, EU, NATO, and Babylon the Great. Criticize the United Nations or such globalist groups as the conceal on foreign relations, the Bilderbergers, and the Trilateral Commission, which we always talking about. These are the elites. This is number 24. Hey, this is cold, man. You see? It's number 24. Criticize the Masonic Lodge, the Order of the Skull and Bones, or other secret societies. Highlight or otherwise bring attention to immortality of public officials. I'm sorry. Highlight or otherwise bring attention to immorality or public officials or corruption in government. You can't talk about these things. It's a number 26. Complain of government wrongdoing or injustice, such as happened as Waco, which was what this guy that said he was Jesus Christ. I forgot his name. Such as happening at Waco, Rugby Ridge, and elsewhere. Rugby Ridge, I think that's when those people had crashed in that plane and they started to eat each other, if I ain't mistaken. Number 27 say criticize the Jewish ADL or other Jewish lobby groups. Number 28 say anything possible. It say anything positive about the religion's right or the patriot movement. You see? Number 29 supports homeschooling, home churches, or unregistered churches. And that's what? Why the Lord said go to the highways and hedges, to the streets and lanes, because they can't mess with you, man. Again, number 28, number 29, support homeschooling, which is always good. That's why it's a good thing to have more than one woman at the crib, man. You women don't understand. Well, a lot of women out there do now. Hey, because when you got 2 or 3 women at your house, everybody don't gotta work full time. There's always gonna be money. Everybody gonna always still have money in pocket, and there's always gonna be somebody at home to school the kids, man. Esau don't want this. Number 29 again, support homeschooling, home churches, which is what? Going to the highways and hedges, or unregistered churches. What's the home churches and unregistered churches? That's what the Lord told his Hebrew Israelites sons to do, man. This is number 30. Spend money on missionary projects or charitable causes not approved by IRS. Promote, this is number 31, promote or encourage alternative health care, herbs, vitamins, etc. This is what the Lord say do. We supposed to deal with herbs and vitamins. If you get healthy, if you always healthy, who the hell need to go to the doctor or to the 24-hour clinics or to the 24-hour hospitals? Who need to do that if you are always healthy? Right? Why would you go to the doctors? They don't want you promoting or encouraging alternative health care, herbs, vitamins, etc. This is the devil we're dealing with. Number 32, expose false teachings of any kind by anyone. This hey, this is cold. They don't want you doing these things. I never read all these. I had it for years on my phone. I just never read all of them. This is number 32. Expose false teachings of any kind by anyone. Support or encourage persecuted Christians' sufferings under anti-Christian regime in Red China, Cuba, Russia, Israel, Saudi Arabia, the United States, and elsewhere. You can't talk about the thing that's going to happen to the Israelites. That's in the scriptures. They don't want you talking about this. You see? And these groups, now you can see none of these groups talk about any of these things. Only GMS bring these things out. Start with the Apostle Great Millstone. That's why Great Millstone is the most hated group on the planet, man. This is number 34. Let's read 33 again. It says support or encourage persecuted Christians suffering under the anti-Christian regimens in Red China, Cuba, Russia, Israel, Saudi Arabia, the United States, and elsewhere. They don't want you talking about it. Number 34, ordain a pastor whose training or qualifications are not approved by IRS. So you see, that's the rudiments of the world in Colossians 2 and 8. If you don't go to these theological seminaries, you ain't deemed a pastor in this world. Well, the Lord ain't looking for those type of guys. The Lord say he will raise up those men. What does it say in Romans 10? How shall they preach except they have been sent, man? The Lord ain't dealing with these bug-out ass demons that go to these theological seminaries, man. Okay, number 34 again. Ordain a pastor whose training or qualifications are not approved by the IRS, man. That means you got to come through the rudiments of the world. Number 35. Advocate or teach any Bible doctrine that is politically or religiously incorrect or is inconsistent with any public policy. You see, there it is, the rudiments of the world. Colossians 2 and 8, man. If you ain't coming with the Colossians 2 and 8, rudiments of the world, and not after Hamashiach, you can't push this gospel unless you got the 501c3 and you doing it under their watch, man. Again, 35. Advocate or teach any Bible doctrine that is politically or religiously incorrect or is inconsistent with any public policy, abortion, feminism, gay rights, etc., currently being enforced by the IRS. It's a additional requirements for 501c3 churches are found in the Department of the Treasury, Internal Revenue Service, publication 1826. It say churches must have a recognized creed and IRS approved form of worship. Damn, that's cold. They say they must have a recognized creed and IRS approved form of worship. Have IRS approved code of doctrine and discipline. That's code. This is number 36 and 37. 36 say, have a recognized creed and IRS approved form of worship. 37 say, have IRS approved code of doctrine and discipline. You see that? Number 38. It say the 501c3 churches must have ordained ministers educated in state accredited colleges. There it is. You see that? So these pastors, these churches, man, you see, they got to have the 501c3 or they can't have no building, man. There's no building fund. Oh, man, this is cold. This number 40. No, this number 39. It say pastor must answer to the IRS as to daily activities of the church. So these pastors is going back telling these devils everything that goes on Sunday. And if you have revival week, he got to tell them everything, man. You see? He got to tell them everything, man. This number 40. The IRS must be privy to all financial transactions of the church. And all churches send a 10%, send a part of their tithes back to who? The government. Who controls these churches? The Roman Catholic Church. Everybody know. Hey, that's why I tell you Revelation 19, it's a with the beast. Matter of fact, let's read that real quick. Let's read that. Because who controls this? We already know. We already know. This Revelation 19 in verse let's see. In Revelation 19 and 20, it say, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire, burning with brimstone. So, who is the false prophet? We already know who it is, man. We don't even got to make mention of it. We know who the false prophet. We know who controls all religions. It's what? The Roman Catholic Church, man. This is number 41 again. It say the number 39. Pastor must answer to the IRS as to daily activity of the church. Number 40. The IRS must be privy to all financial transactions of the church. 41. Pastor must supply names of all donors, make books, records available. 42. Be neutral on political issues. You see, they can't tell you, oh no, these guys, these presidents, these senate, no, they wrong, they're going off. They can't. We shouldn't be following. They can't tell you that, man. This is number 43. Be engaged in activities furthering exclusively public proposals. 44. It say open its services to the public. You got to do it. What does that mean? Come as you are. See, there it is right there. Number 44. Open its services to the public. That's that come as you are. So that's the transformers in there. That's murderers. That's adulterers. Everybody can come to the church, and you can't deny them, man. You cannot neglect these people. You see, that's a part of the 501c3, man. It say number 45. Submit names of all church workers, pastors, teachers, clerks, counselors, educational directors, office help, associates, and maintenance personnel. 46. Not publicity. Let's say not publicity, not yeah, not to it's a publicize, oppose, license, or church ministers. Right? You can't expose these guys. Not publicize, oppose, license, or church ministers. Number 47. Give unlimited submission to civil magistrates pertaining to all laws, federal, state, and local, including public policy. May only use IRS approved fundraising methods. You see that? May only use IRS approved fundraising methods. Number 49. Pastors must be called to account over any stand taken against the tax system. It say pastors will be called to account over any stand taken against the tax system. So if you got people in your church that want to go out and do something that wasn't approved by the pastor, the government gonna snatch his ass up. This is number 51. Number 50. Church must advocate and support racial integration. Salakia. Integration. It's a multiculturalism. They got it in parentheses. Church must advocate and support racial integration, multiculturalism. Wow. May not engage in activities opposing pornography. It say may not engage in activities opposing pornography. May not support legislations saying children belong to the parents rather than the state. Hold on. So the state own the kids. That's a law they passed. If you didn't know, again, this is number 52. May not support legislations saying children belong to the parents rather than the state. You see how bugged out this is, man? Number 53. May not form a political action committee nor support legislation opposing lotteries and gambling activity. Come on, man. Those things we are not to do, man. Number 54, may not oppose the public school system. You see that? Number 55, may not publicize, declare we are to obey God rather than the government. These devils is wicked, man. Number 55 again, it say, may not publicize, declare we are to obey God rather than the government. We are to obey we are to obey. How about Shema Shai rather than men? They don't want you speaking about these things. You see that? This is number 56. May not advocate support of the United States or state constitutions as the supreme law of the land. Public policy takes precedence. So you can't be pushing. Oh, it's supposed to be a land Sabbath. We're supposed to be doing this and that. Anything that got to do with the scriptures, you can't bring it out. It's a the Christian church has been gutted. It has had its heart and all of its inward parts removed just as completely as a slaughterhouse animal on its way to being dismembered for market. The church can say nothing and do nothing. Who is the head of this Christian church? The church has always maintained that Yahweh Shah Mashiach is the head of the church. But if this is true, can the church enter can the church enter into any form of contract with the civil authority that submits the church to the authority of the state? If it does so, the state has every right to govern the action, contracts, and practices of that corporation. And what is these churches? They just business corporations, man. It's a but it should be obvious that the church has no right to enter into a contractual relationship with the state. To enter into a relationship that requires the church to be subject to the state is a compromise to the declaration that Hamashiach is the sole head and authority of the church. What are the results when a church incorporates and surrenders itself to the jurisdiction of the state? The church is no longer considered a real institution, but it goes through a transformation and becomes a fictitious salakia, a fictitious state created person or institution. The church comes under the jurisdiction of the state and therefore surrenders its headship to the state. Number three, there's four of them. The church chief officer become official representative of the state by virtue of their corporate charter. Number four, the church must open its doors and all practices to the investigation of the state. This would include church membership rolls, Christian school records, regulations on all functions of the church and any of its ministries, church financial records, including all tithing records, names, addresses, and amounts. It say ministers in churches in court of law are considered wards of the state by virtue of their charter, including all church members, adults, and children. The transformation of the church from reality to fiction by Kennedy Talbot, PhD. Wow. Hey, this is cold, man. And you see, wow. It's a man, this is cold, bro. The goal of this Bible study is say to show that Christianity is not a religion. It is a personal relationship with Hamashiach. And that's the truth, man. This is a personal relationship with Hamashiach, man. Because the Lord didn't make us, he didn't give us no religion, man. He gave us law, statute, and commandments. He made us spiritual, man. Okay? This has nothing to do with Christianity, man. The Bible has nothing to do with Christianity. Therefore, you shouldn't be joining yourself to these devils, man. This is that's cold. That's cold. I never read all of that. And it is some more on there to read too, man. But that was the main points, man. This is Acts. Let me see. Acts chapter 11 and verse 26. It reads, this is Acts 11 and 26. And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch. So it said the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch. So before Antioch, what was they called? They was called what? The Hamashiachim, which is what? The followers of the anointed one, man. Okay? The Hamashiachim, man. The followers of the anointed one, man. It wasn't no Christians, man. Christian is new speak, man. Okay? It said what? And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch, man. The Lord made us spiritual and he gave us laws, statutes, and commandments to follow, man. It has nothing to do with Christianity. The Bible had nothing to do with Christianity, man. So now we see that these guys has made a covenant with the devil, man. This is Isaiah 28 and 15. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come nigh unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. What's the falsehood? What's the refuge of lies? The 501c3 tax exempt, man. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste. Who is this cornerstone? Yahweh Shai. Number 17. It's a judgment. Also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet. And the hell shall sweep away the refuge of lies. It tell you in what is that? Second Ezra 2. And no, Second Ezra, matter of fact, let's read it real quick. Second Ezra chapter 6 and 27. It reads, for evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared. So, back in Isaiah 28, in verse 18, in verse 17, it says, judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet, and the hell shall sweep away the refuge of lies. This hell here is talking about what? The truth. And the waters shall overflow the high places. What's the waters? The wells of salvation, right? The living waters. John 7:38, right? It tell you what is that, Matthew 10 and 26, that the things that was hid shall be made known and come abroad because of what? The truth, for truth's sake, right? It say, and your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. So the Lord has said right here, you made a covenant with death, and that hell are ye at agreement, right? You have made a refuge, you have made lies your refuge, and on the falsehood have you hid yourselves. These things is going to come back and bite you in the ass, man. Matter of fact, this Matthew 10:26, it reads, Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. This is another one in Luke 8 and 17. It reads, for nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. So the Lord said, don't be afraid, and we're not afraid. It tell you that in 2 Timothy 1 and 7, the Lord didn't give us the spirit of fear, but of what? A power and a sound mind, man. Okay? These things have been manifest, man. So back in Isaiah, so you Jakes that's trusting in these devils in their agreement, Isaiah 28 and 18, and your covenant with death. Who is death? Esau Edom, the wicked. And your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell, who is hell? Esau Edom, shall not stand. It said, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. It said the same thing in 2 Ezra 16, which I'm going to read. Matter of fact, let's get it right now. 2 Ezra 16 and 68. Because you niggas, you think you got a covering. For behold, the burning wrath of a great, this is 2 Ezra 16 and 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle. So the Lord said, you want to be idle? Okay, they're going to feed you with things, they say, and feed you, being idle, with things offered unto idols. So you want to be idle? Okay, so you're going to worship these things, which ultimately is what? The RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast. Verse 69, and they that consent unto them, which we're reading right now in Isaiah 28, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and trodden underfoot. Hold on, remember that. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. Back in Isaiah 28, it said the same exact thing. Listen to this, Isaiah 28 and 18. And your covenant, it said what it says in Ezra, and you that consented unto them, through what? A covenant. And your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. Did it not just say in 2 Ezra 16 and 69 that you shall be trodden on the foot for that same covenant? Precept on precept. Verse 19. From the time that it goeth forth, what? When that judgment start to happen on you, it said from the time that it goeth forth, it shall take you for morning by morning shall it pass over, by day and by night. So 24 hours a day, the Lord gonna be destroying all you devils that took that agreement, man, that made that covenant with the wicked. It say, from the time that it goeth forth, which is what? Jacob's trouble, it shall take you, for morning by morning shall it pass over, by day and by night, and it shall be a vexation only to understand the report. What report? That your ass shouldn't have did it. You thought you were sliding in the dark. Hey, but the Lord say, what did King David say when reading Psalms? When he said, can I go hide in the darker place and you shall not see me? Hey, it say the light and the dark, man. He light up the dark with the light, man. You can't hide, man. That's what the Lord say. Hey, they deeds are evil, right? They love darkness rather than light because they deeds is evil. But everything is being exposed on you devils, man. All you bug out niggas that took this, you're gonna die a grievous death, man. You see? This is Salakia. Colossians 2 and 8. It reads, beware, these any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, which is what? Going to these theological seminaries, after the rudiments of the world and not after Hamashiach. So the ones that didn't go to the theological seminaries, like these other group guys, what do? They just took the bag. They had to sign the contract and they took the bag, man. You see, they still got them. Just like I was mentioning, like with this whole thing about going to Hollywood, right? If you don't go to college, right? Because when you go to college, before you leave college, if you plan on having a great career and being a part of the world, you have to be part of the brotherhood or the sisterhood. That's before you leave college, right? So let's say you don't make it to college to be a part of the sorority, the sororities or the fraternities, right? Let's say you make it to Hollywood through rapping, or you're a movie actor. You still, as a contract, you got to sign. You part of what? The Black Boule, right? So if you don't go to college and get and be part of the sorority, because this is how these devils set it up. One way, if you want to have a great career and advance in life, you got to be part of one of these sororities or these fraternities. Now, I'm from Mississippi. In Mississippi, if you're not a person that made it and you still want to be joined to this wicked ass kingdom, they got a thing called the Masonic temples, right? The Mason lodges. They're the Mason lodges for the lower level people. I know a lot of people that's joined to it, man, right? All you gotta do is be joined, and they got a saying: to be one, ask one. That's the saying. So if you don't make it to Hollywood by rapping or being a movie actor, or you don't go to college and you be part of a sorority in one of those ways, then you still can be part of it by going to one of these damn Mason lodges, man. One of these elk clubs, and you can get in that way, man, and sign the contract and be part of the wicked ass system, man. They got ways for you to join, man. Believe that. So again, in Colossians 2 and 8, be well as any man spoil you through philosophies and vain deceit, after the traditions of the world, which is what the theological seminaries, after the rudiments of the world. That's what rudiments mean, meaning you following the tradition of men that they set up already. That your TD Snakes and Teflo Dollar and Jesse Jackass and Al Sharpton and Martin Lucifer Queens and all these demons, man. They was part of the rudiments of the world, man. You see, it's a after the rudiments of the world and not after Hamashiach, man. So all this thing is set up either way, man. That's why Great Millstone, GMS, is the most hated group on the planet, man. Why? Because the apostles and the elders pushing the 100% truth, whether you can accept it or not. We don't care. But that's why, man. Because everybody else has taken the 501c3, man. And it just is what it is. Let's get a couple of these precepts and I'm gonna close out. That brother lit this thing up. Okay, this is right. The brother child of the Most High 1 put up Acts 7:48. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as said the prophet. They tell you in First Peter 2 and 5 that we are the temple of the Lord, man. Okay? First Corinthians 3:16 and 17. No, you're not. The temple of the Lord is in you. We the temple of the Lord, man. Right? First Corinthians 16, 1 Corinthians 6:19 and 20. We the temple, right? The temple is not a church, man. It's us. We are the temple of the Lord, man. First Corinthians 3:16 and 17. This is in his likes in Yasharallah, Jeremiah 23 and 26. Say, how long, Salakia, how long shall this be in the heart of the prophet that prophesy lies? Yeah, they are prophets of the deceit of their own heart. Right, right. It's verse 27. It say, which thing to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal. Right, man? Yeah. And you got Martin Luther King everywhere. Street, avenue, boulevard, school, highway, all that. It's the same rudiments of the world, man. Same rudiments of the world. It's a let's get this. This is in his likeness, Yasharallah, Jeremiah 8 and 5. It said, why then is this people of Jerusalem sliding back by a perpetual backslide? They hold fast deceit, they refuse to return. Yeah, man. Hey, devils, man. This is Job 15 and 35. Hey, Jay, refuse to return, man. But they have been following the rudiments of the world, man. So, I mean, that's the way the Lord set it up, man. Proverbs 16 and 33, it reads that the lot is cast into the lap, but the whole disposing thereof is of the Lord, man. So this is how the Lord set it up, man. Everybody got their own lot, man. It's Job 15 and 35. It said they conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepare deceit. Right? When you go to that's a beautiful precept, brother. When you go to it said they belly prepare deceit, man. Because when you go to let's get this. Proverbs 26 and 24, it say, he that hateth dissembleth with his lips and layeth up deceit within him. Verse 25 is the point. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. 7 is completion, man. So this devil have 7 abominations in his heart, man. To do what? To overthrow you jakes, man. That's their whole goings. Their whole goings is to overthrow you jakes, man. This is 1 Samuel 2 and 9. From in his light, and Yasha, he will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. Right? It's beautiful. Right, man? On the righteous is going to make it out of this wicked place, man. Because Jake just refused to get in order, man. This is a beautiful one. Azara, Yahweh, Psalm 10 and 7. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud under his tongue. It say his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity, man. And they set it up, man, for you jakes, man. But it was Yahweh Shema Shah that did it, man. This is child of the Most High, Matthew 15 and 14. It say, let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Right, man? And we see it happening. The brother also, this is Azara Yahweh. This is verse 8, Psalm 10 and 8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doeth he murder the innocent. His eyes are purely set against the poor. Yeah, man. Why? Because they know that you are the righteous. They know that you are the chosen people of the Lord, man. So their whole job is to destroy you. But you got to remember, the Lord set these guys up to do that, man. The Lord set these guys up to do this, man. Yeah, so I ain't want to go too long on that, man. I just want to say I want to do a lesson on that and bring that out to show that all these counts, man, they is under the 501c3 charter, man. I'm gonna say most of them. Most of them is under this 501c3, man. Oh, this is a beautiful one. Child of the Most High one, Isaiah 9 and 16. For the leaders of this people, cause them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed. Yeah, man. Yeah, the brother said it right here. Let's see. Let's pull this up. Salakia. Moving a little too fast. Where is it at? Right here. Matthew 7, 5 and 15. From Azara Yahweh. It said, beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves, man. And it's a verse in Zechariah. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull it real quick. Let's see, it's Zechariah I think 12. Let's see. It say they should not. Matter of fact, maybe 13. No, damn it, what was it? Let's see. Let me pull it up real quick. Salakia. Let me pull it up real quick. Salakia, bear with me. Hey, cause I love to bring this one out, man. I just forget where it is sometimes. So this is okay, Zechariah 13 and 4. I was just looking at it. It's Zechariah 13 and 4. It reads, it said, and it shall come to pass that when any shall prophesy, hold on. Oh, okay. Verse 4. Zechariah 13 and 4. It reads, and it shall come to pass in that day that the prophets shall be ashamed, every one of his vision, when he have prophesied, neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive. And when you go back and watch the video of this bug-eyed nigga Nate, that nigga was hurt, man. When Elder Monatazak pulled that video out and put it up, man. Hey, he ain't gonna show you because he got pride, man. All these guys got pride, man. That man was hurt, man. Again, Zechariah 13 and 4, and it shall come to pass in that day that the prophets shall be ashamed. Everyone, everyone of his vision, right? Because he said a vain vision. And even the Benjamite guy cut him, man. Right? When he had prophesied. Hey, he was ashamed about that. But he got too much pride to show it, man. And to repent from it. And say that he went off and he was wrong. It say neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive. So they ain't gonna be in no rough garments lying to you. They're gonna wear nice, smooth, pretty garments, deceiving you, man. You see? Because they wolves and sheep clothing. And what the Lord said in Matthew, there's another verse in Matthew. It say, they that wear soft raiment be well in king's houses, man. Right? Talking about these pastors that wearing these suits in these churches, and also these guys with these beautiful, nice garments, man. Okay? They that wear soft raiment be in king's houses. What's the king's houses? Esau Edom house, because they have taken the 501c3, right? They made a covenant with death and hell. They made a covenant with death, and they held out that agreement. On the refuge had they hid themselves, right? They had a refuge, and on the false, now they made refuge their lies, and on the falsehood had they hid themselves. So that's them. Neither shall they wear rough garments to deceive. They got soft raiment, and they in king's houses deceiving you, man. Looking good, man. They deceiving you like the pastors doing in suits, man. They just got nice garments on with the fringes on them, deceiving Jake, man. You see, all these things is prophecy playing out, man. All of this prophecy playing out, man. It's a Lord witness edifying. Oh, let's read this. This is let's read this. John 10:11 from Azara Yahweh. It say, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth life for the sheep. Right? Verse 12. But he that is an hireling and not the shepherd, whose own sheep, it says, whose own the sheep are not, seeing the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth, and the wolf catches them and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth because he is an hireling and careth not for the sheep. And it's going to show right here soon that these guys are hirelings, man. It's going to show. Real soon it's going to show, man. Well, actually, it's already showing because you shall know them by their fruits, man. But yeah, so Lord was edifying. Got to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rikakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether you can accept it or not. In a sincere salutation, told the Akim, pushing this truth and believing this truth toward the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hope for the elect, and Shalom to the Agwath who are listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah from Jim as Orlando Camp coming at you another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification, another daily edification. Lord, wouldn't it be edifying? Hey, the water for tuning in. May Yahweh Shema Shah continue to bless you in your houses. Stay prayed up. Hey, the water for the precepts. Your brother put on some fire precepts, man. Let's get this. This is Azariah Yahweh, Colossians 2 and 7. Matter of fact, you got 2 and 6 up. Now let's read 6. Before I read 7, let's read 6. This is Colossians 2 and 6. It reads, as ye have therefore received Hamashiach, Yahweh Shah the Lord, so walk ye in him, rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith, as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. Yeah, man. You got to be rooted and built up in Yahweh Shema Shah, man. Hey, the water for tuning in, the water for these fire-ass pre-sales, man. The water, man. The water, y'all brother. Y'all brother got some fire pre-sales, man. I seen the only one up late night. Hey, Shalom, everybody on the comment, boy. Hey, Shalom, everybody, man. Yahweh Shema Shah, Bahashem, Rikak Wadash, Barakatham. The water for tuning in, man. The water. Hey, until next time, I say Shalom, Wah Habababal. Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwaf on the comment board. Shalom. Hey, the water for tuning in. Hey, I know it's late. The water. Until next time, Shalom. Now we see all these camps is under the 501c3 tax exempt, man. You damn devils, man. They all got it. Shalom.